Hello, how are you?
Hello, Trevor. I'm very well. How are you?
Very well. Welcome to our feedback interview. I'm the Wealthy Warlock, and you are
I am Harriet Castle. I am the founder of Success with Soul.
fantastic. And we've been doing a little bit of work together, haven't we?
We have.
And it's been highly fantastic for you, I hear.
It sounds cliched to say life-changing, particularly in the line of work that I do. You hear that thrown around a lot, but it's been phenomenal in terms of the rapid results on every aspect of my life, every aspect.
Yeah, I chose a bit of a bizarre term there because of that. You know, it seems so cliche sometimes to go, oh, it was really good, was it? It's like, yeah, it was, but how good was it? All right. Whereabouts are we coming from? So when you first reached out to me, where were you? What were you doing? What was the what led you to that point?
Well, it was interesting. What led me to you was that we hadn't spoken for quite a long time, and I just felt very compelled to message you. And even though it felt awkward and uncomfortable and a bit weird, I just thought I need to speak with you. I need to just reach out. There's something that I know you can help me with. Where I was I'd had a successful business. I do have a successful business, but I was at a point where there was something I couldn't shift. I'd done a lot of work. I'm also a hypnotherapist myself. I've had a very successful corporate career in the past, and there was something I felt this thing that couldn't shift, like this little pin, and which was causing some significant challenges for me and holding me back. And it was around not being able to, feeling like I couldn't show up fully as me in my life and in my business, and particularly in my business, that I couldn't be all of me, every ounce of me expressed, whether I'm showing up with makeup and sparkly or in sweaty gym gear, speaking my truth. I felt like there was something, a wall between me and that ability to actually be all of me with no separation. There was this sense of separation, and it was causing me to not be in my genius zone. It was causing me to hold back on my pricing. It was holding me back on not, in fact, I was diluting myself. And for any human being who knows they've got a lot to give, when you feel like you're downplaying and diluting, it actually makes you sick. If you've got a big genius and you've got a big agenda and there's so much inside of you and you suppress that, I believe that contributes to health, mental and physical health issues. So that's where I was when I reached out to you. And although I'd done so much work already and had good money coming in, it was losing its meaning. It was becoming less relevant to me because of this issue.
That's perfect. It's the very essence behind why I do what I do. And it's also the hardest part about what I do with it. Why I do what I do is because the words just don't match up. You know, like you started with, we talk about it being fantastic, like it being divine, like it being life-changing, but you're no stranger to personal development. You're no stranger to running your own business. You're no stranger to life, are you? No, so this is not all of a sudden the first time that you've gone, oh, maybe I should look into myself. So
no, I'm not broken. I knew that I wasn't broken. I don't need fixing. I needed the opposite to that, Trevor, is that I needed to be fully in my genius. And I think I'm just going to jump here and say this because now it's sort of channeling through. Is
definitely.
What called me to you was knowing that you would help me to activate that genius. I actually think that's what it was. And I didn't even know it at the time, that I felt safe that you would help me to express that. And that's a very rare ability that people have, but I recognize that in you because I do the same for my people, but I wasn't being able to do that fully for myself. Thank
you. Yeah, that's beautiful. It's one of my favorite things I get back from my clients anyway. Oh, you're so good at doing this. Oh, shucks, stop. No, keep going.
Are. But you are. Just live with it. Accept it, embrace it.
Loving it every day. So
Absolutely.
how was all of this impacting your life and your business? Like what's some actual tangible things? You
Yeah.
mentioned how you're having trouble getting your price up, and you mentioned how it felt like you weren't kind of being 100% there, like you were hiding behind the pretty stuff, the makeup and everything else. So
Yeah.
what's the difference between then and now?
Oh, now I can still wear the sparkles and the makeup and be all of me. I'm not hiding behind it.
Clearly.
But the tangible things are just being able to show up fully as me and be in my truth. And I know that doesn't sound very tangible, but the results of being able to do that was, sorry, what was the question? The question was, how was it impacting me?
Yeah.
How was it impacting
how was
me?
it impacting your life and business?
How was it impacting my life and business was I wasn't going for those bigger contracts, putting together the bigger offers, and really, really putting myself out there for the people, the type of people that I wanted to work with because of this issue. And I didn't have a name for this issue. So it was impacting my earning capacity. It was impacting my self-worth because I just knew I was so capable, but I kept pulling myself back. No, let's just stay in this box. The box was much looser than it used to be, but it was just, I've just got to keep staying here. I've got to look a certain way. I have to have the website, the sales pages. I have to do all the things that the coaching industry I'd allowed myself to be conditioned by. So I was spending a lot of time on the peripherals, on the ancillary, on the fluff that you don't actually need. So I was not using my time. So I was burning out. I was working with people at times who probably weren't my ideal customers or clients. And it was also impacting, I'm a solo parent. So it's kind of important that I keep myself, my finances, my life, my well-being, my spirituality, relatively healthy. And
absolutely,
it was impacting
especially as a
all
parent.
those areas. As a parent, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. That's beautiful. Do you mind if we talk a little bit about what sort of brackets of price ranges that you're moving into and from?
Sure. So historically, I'd been selling that sort of 2,000, 10,000 product. And now I have just recently, as you know, just literally during the days we were working together or just after, I enrolled a 150K client outside of similar.
I'm sorry. What?
So I enrolled a 150K client, still in the entrepreneurial space, but not an online entrepreneur.
Amazing. Way to go.
I didn't feel any different when I did it. In fact, I didn't really tell anyone because here's the difference is that in the past I might have gone, yay, but I just went, of course. And it felt so natural, it felt so normal, and it felt so easy and so aligned, but also, this is going to sound a bit cliched because I felt it didn't matter if I had that 150K client or no client, I'm okay as I am. Yeah. And that, in fact, I believe was the catalyst. Key. That's key. I'm okay Absolutely. As I am. I don't need to prove anything. I don't need to look a particular way. I don't have to. I had no sales pages. I've got a law background, so I had to quickly update my contract. But it was just, there was nothing apart from, a PDF Word agreement that occurred. And it was so easy and so loving, coming from such a space of love and ease. Yeah.
That's insane. That's so good to hear. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, aside from that, the most obvious, what has changed?
So the money, I think it's really important I'm all about earning divine cash flow, but there's more to life, that's a byproduct of the work we're doing and the contribution we're giving to the community and society. What's really important also is that, as I said to you earlier, is that this is for the first time in many, many years, I feel open to a healthy relationship with a man. Instead of going, my God, it's too traumatizing, it's too much work, too much effort, but actually really opening up the channel to allow that type of love. We've got love for the kids, we've got love for our clients and our business and the environment and the world and all the things, but to actually allow space, that spaciousness to allow a relationship to even occur. And that's a big one.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, and the depth, what else has shifted is the depth of honesty of conversations with my clients, with the children. I always had great open relationships with them. I have had a few come to Jesus conversations with my oldest child. I'm speaking more openly and truthfully, whether it's a parent at school or it's my kids or somebody in a shop. I'm not having different faces for different places, so to speak. This is me. That's good, isn't it? Different faces for different places. Not at all anymore.
That's a good one. I like that.
It's this consistency, and it's much easier to navigate through life that way. It really is.
Excellent. It sounds integrated, sort of aligned, functioning, but in an aligned fashion where you're not just running around throwing your resources about, hoping that it's going to do something and then getting frustrated because it's not working as you'd hoped.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I get to point out how obvious, again, this all really is. So you've had changes in your business, you've had changes in your personal moods, you've had changes in how you feel about yourself, you've had changes in how you feel about your childhood, your family, your growing up lessons, and I call them lessons. Most people call them traumas, but we all have a list of them.
If you want, you just ask me about that. I can tell you. It's fine.
But to get to this point in your life, where after how many sessions did we have?
We only had 3, but the shifts really began after.
Yeah.
It didn't take the 3. In fact, by the 3rd one, I thought, what are we actually going to do? I had to come up with something to think, what are we going to do on this session? I was literally like, because you said to me, think about what we want to talk about. And I'm like, well, of course, with your work and Psych-K, and your work is beyond, any label you can have. It's very multidimensional and a 5D, and it was like, what do we talk about? I need to find something to bring to this session, and which we did, which ended up being actually a massively important one, which was the one around being safe to be fully me. I just think, that the childhood that I grew up with was, people look at me and think, oh, I had a silver spoon in my mouth, it was all easy, and it couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, you've heard my story now. There's huge amounts of childhood trauma, rejection. I'm just writing down here some of the things being abandoned, judged, physical abuse, never fitted in, never supported, pretty much left to my own devices to raise myself, basically pushed out to live in a caravan on my own at 12 years of age, to cook for myself and for myself, nobody giving too much of a damn. I had all sorts of traumas going on, like physical, emotional, spiritual, but we don't need to embellish that. It's important to understand that that occurred.
First of all, everyone has them, and that they're very common, and they're all different in their own spectrums. But this is why we do what we do, is because we can get rid of them and align them. From that last session that we had, I just want to bring up the belief that we finished with, which was, my imperfections are the expressions of source that my clients are looking for.
How good is that?
So, I mean, like, if you take all of the stuff, all of the negative things that you were just talking about, and then you flip them on your head, now all of a sudden, all those things are the caricatures that you've got embedded in your personality that are magnetic attractors for your soul client contracts.
Yeah, and I can have really...
Perfect.
Do you know what that's done? And I think I said to you at the time, that's become a beautiful fuel instead of something that was to be hidden away.
Exactly.
It kind of felt dirty in a way. It kind of felt like stuff to be hidden away. And I think we all feel like, the whole thing about skeletons in the closet, well, people can look in my closet now, and I don't actually mind, because there's no attachment to that. There's no story anymore. It just is. And what that's allowed me to do is to really hold my clients in much more power and not buy into their stories, which means they get better results. And then the ripple effect for them out into their world with their children, their clients, their work environment, whatever it is. This is so important, that because we only have to impact one person. So Trevor, your work's impacted me. I've gone and done a 3-part masterclass and impacted, 88 people, and some will come and work with me, some won't, but the thing is they can take that away and implement it, and that they've felt shifts. They've said we feel incredible shifts. So then that goes out into their own worlds and their own lives, and we see the ripple effect. It's so powerful, and
that's amazing.
It is amazing. So it's never just about us. It's about allowing ourselves to bring the work through, and not allowing all the trauma, the crap, the stories to stop, to be bigger than what needs to come through us. Like your work, never letting the stuff being bigger than our greatness, and allowing that to channel through. We need to get out of our own way in a beautiful, loving way. Yeah. That's what your work has helped me to do. That's exactly, if I could sum it up, that's what your work has helped me to do. Just become a clearer channel for my truth. Absolutely.
It's like the ideal butterfly effect, isn't it? Not like the negative ones they talk about in that movie. But the last question I wanted to finish with today was, how is it now? So after our sessions, where you are now, moving forward, what you're doing today and in the next few days, where you're going from here, what is the difference?
So the difference is that no matter what I do, I know I'm okay.
Perfect.
I feel safe. As much as we can feel safe in this current world, I do feel safe in me. I'm more unshakable than I've ever been, very centered, grounded, focused on who I am.
Fantastic.
I'm trusting myself fully that whatever needs to come through is what I need to deliver to the world, and just allowing that. I mean, we've just had 2nd of, well, probably dates aren't so relevant because we're recording this, but even in just the first 2 days of the month, just sold out my intention for this thing that I decided to create. So there was no overthinking, there was no overcreation. It was just allowed to come through.
No anxiety.
No anxiety, no feeling like, oh my God. I just stayed with it, held the vision.
And we didn't even do any work on anxiety, did we?
No. Well, you helped with the stress relief. The stress relief elements of releasing the stress from my body in the sessions was huge. And I think for anyone who's holding on to stuff, we don't realize how much stress we're holding on to in our physical body either. And that was so powerful, so powerful. So I feel very calm, centered, grounded, and able to navigate through whatever life is going to bring me, even though I'm a creator. We still know that we live in a 3D reality. So yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted to bring you on camera for, was because trying to put words to it is really difficult. I mean, I kind of asked you a more difficult question, which is, how is it now? What's the future going to be like?
Yep.
It's like, well, how else would we expect except the same as normal? Except you've turned around and you said, well, it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be trusting, it's going to be reliable, it's going to be safe. Who says that nowadays? But who says it with actual conviction?
Yeah, well,
that's
this
amazing.
is the work. And when I say the work with you, it's not really work. I mean, I'm a therapist and all those things, but it's actually very simple, but incredibly, probably it's the most powerful process. And this is why I want to recruit you to work with my clients, is that it's fast, it's beautiful, it's so safe, you're so safely held with you. And
thank you.
Particularly as women, it's important that we feel, I think your words were, to be able to lean into the mountain, and because that's a rare thing these days, is to feel held. And you provided that space for me to go, whoa, and you held it for me, and that was incredibly powerful through those sessions. So thank you. Yeah.
It's the reason why I feel funny taking compliments so much is because, as healers, we recognize that you're the one that did it all. You're the one that went through all the processes. You're the one that sat there and had to wipe gallons of bodily fluid away, like we all do when we go through this sort of stuff. Tears as well, not just snot. But for that to happen is it's astounding and so easily done. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time to jump on and share your story with everybody, to help try to bring some substance to such a conversation as what the hell is Psych-K? What does it do?
Yeah.
And how can it change our lives? Yeah, I think you've summed it up pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy if anybody
like
has questions. If anyone has questions about, you know, my experience, I'm more than happy to answer. But yes, there were tears, there was snot, there was sobbing. I felt kind of wiped out for one of the days afterwards. But that small investment of time to have this sort of next level transformation, and Trevor, it's the expansion of consciousness. It's not just a physical, practical, transactional thing you do. It really
Exactly.
if for people who are really wanting to expand their consciousness, this work is how you do it and what you bring to it with your own unique style. It is an expansion of consciousness, and I think we all need more of that.
Thank you very much. So you've just jumped in and got your appointments at exactly the right time, just before I've gone ahead and decided to raise my prices. When you first made your purchase, you were quite astounded at how cheap it was. Now that you've experienced the whole process, is there anything you would like to comment about that?
What I would say, as an entrepreneur, as a human being, I would easily have paid. Yes, I was surprised. And I felt like I didn't want to be feeling like I was taking advantage of you. And I think we shared about the energetics of pricing a little bit, but I would pay thousands for the work. It's worth thousands. Of course it is. Look at the transformation. Look at the results. You look at, we mustn't just look at the price as a transaction.
Exactly.
To look at what happens. I mean, look at my results across all aspects of my life. It's thousands, of course. It's a no-brainer. Of course.
Well, I think here's a beautiful place to end it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for everybody watching. Have a wonderful time.